Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Martial Universe Season 9 Part 62 based on novel. So let's start. Bright red flames whistled through the sky like shooting stars. The spot where the flames whizzed past became searing hot and there was a figure vaguely visible within the flames. Fire Phoenix Red Lotus. A feminine cry containing an icy cold murderous intent was emitted from within the flames. The flames suddenly exploded before sharp searing hot spear figures turned into a brilliant red lotus. The red lotus spun as it flew towards the black glowing person with lightning-like speed. Ha ha! When that black glowing figure saw this shockingly and sharp attack, he laughed towards the sky instead. His laughter contained a pride that could not be hidden. Devil Demon Force, Spirit Annihilation Palm. Black light spread and directly transformed into 1,000 feet large black light palm. Black chi lingered over the huge palm, causing the searing hot air to gradually turn icy cold. Black and red light shot towards the sky before they finally clashed abruptly. Flames and black light occupied half the sky respectively. The huge immeasurable mountain actually began to shake amidst this clash. Red and black light entwined with each other. It was clearly a splendid sight. Countless pairs of eyes were focused on this spot while their eyes were filled with a dense solemnness and shock. The intensity of the fight between the two of them had far exceeded their expectation. Initially, they thought that Tang Xinlian would definitely emerge victorious in this fight. However, as the fight between the two became increasingly intense, Hua Chen became fiercer as he fought on and his demeanor grew increasingly aggressive. Although Tang Xinlian's attacks were also ferocious, those with sharp eyesight could tell that her attacks did not appear to cause much harm to Hua Chen. That fellow, just where did he come from? He is actually this powerful, many experts were quietly in shock. Tang Xinlian's reputation was built up from countless battles and there was hardly any younger generation member in Chaotic Demon Sea who dared to challenge her. However, she was currently being pestered by an unknown individual and she was in fact unable to gain the upper hand. This dark horse is a little too ridiculously strong? There is also another intense battle happening on the other side. The eyes of some individuals were directed towards another eye-catching spot. There was an earth-shaking elephant cry while two figures crossed each other like lightning. Wild and violent ripples caused the space to become a little distorted. White elephant sky collapsing palm. Low and deep cry suddenly resounded from the point where two people clashed. Bright white light swept out. It directly turned into 1,000 feet large giant elephant behind Zhu Zi. Following the appearance of the huge elephant, one of Zhu Zi's arm began to swell. A terrifying strength surged from within. Bang! Zhu Zi's expression was icy. He suddenly threw a punch forward. That elephant behind him charged forward and the sky seemed to tremble at this moment. Many people were quietly stunned as they watched this scene. The 10,000 elephant skill that Zhu Zi practices was a kind of extremely powerful martial arts that tempers one's body. Sky Demon Seal. Xu Xiu looked at Zhu Zi, who was charging over while being accompanied by a frightening strength. A chill rose in those diamond-shaped eyes. He flipped his palm. Black light gathered and turned into 1,000 feet black seal. He subsequently threw a punch. Clang! The huge elephant was accompanied by a monstrous strength as it collided onto the black seal. Deafening sound of clashing metal resounded across the sky. A terrifying strength was scattered and it directly shook the surrounding mountains, forming many large cracks. I have said that you are no match for me. The black seal trembled while Xu Xiu looked at Zhu Zi in front and spoke in an indifferent manner. Humph! Zhu Zi's face was icy. He let out a cold snort. Both of his hands were clenched tightly together. A white elephant once again appeared. Its majestic attack rushed towards Xu Xiu from all directions. The two battlegrounds in the sky were so intense that one could not shift one's eyes away. Everyone was aware that the battle in front of them likely represented the top fight amongst the younger generation of the Chaos Demon Sea. The other experts on the peaks, who also had a mountain seal, looked at these two battlegrounds. Their expressions were grave. Only after having personally witnessed this fight was it possible for them to realize the gap in their strengths. The top three on the rookie list were indeed abnormal beings. Lindong sat on a mountain peak in a tranquil manner while the many people were shaken by this battle. His dark black eyes did not show any ripple because of the fight in front. Big brother Lindong. Mu Lingshan stood guard beside Lindong. Those clear large eyes were watching the young man beside her. She could vaguely detect that almost all of the strength within Lindong's body seemed to be gathering together. Big brother Lindong, do you have any confidence? Mu Lingshan asked in a worried manner. Even powerful individuals like the Tang Xinlian duo were gradually giving their opponents the upper hand. It was really too difficult for Lindong to rely on his own strength to block the Shu Xiu duo. Confidence? How can there be any absolute confidence? Lindong looked at Mu Lingshan and laughed softly. Tang Xinlian and Zhu Zi basically represented the strongest amongst the younger generation of the Chaos Sea region. Just how strong must the Shu Xiu duo be if even those two were defeated? Even the ever-confident Lindong did not dare to say that he could truly be victorious against such powerful people. This would likely be the most dangerous fight other than the battle outside of the unique Devil City. Moreover, it was obvious that he was unable to use the strength of the two great ancestral symbol with countless number of people watching. Otherwise, he would definitely be targeted if the Yimo discovered the ancestral symbols. Mu Lingshan involuntarily bit her lips after seeing the usually confident Lindong uttering such words. It seemed that the current situation was a little different from what she had imagined. It is because of those two damn fellows. Miss Tang and Zhu Zi should be able to hold out for a little longer. Lindong looked at the intense fights in the distant sky. He narrowed both of his eyes. Taking a deep breath, he slowly clenched his hands tightly. It was possible for him to sense that the hidden strength deep within his body was being extracted by him a little at a time. It has been a long while since I have unleashed my full strength in a fight. The fight in the sky became increasingly intense with the flow of time. Even an advanced mysterious death stage expert would not dare to easily receive those many energy ripples being emitted. Bang! The energy attacks exploded in the sky. Two figures ended up shooting out from the two battlegrounds. Their bodies shook while their auras appeared slightly chaotic. Ha ha, the both of you are no match for us. Hua Chen stood in the sky and laughed faintly. His eyes were dark and gloomy. Black Chi also lingered around Shu Xiu, who stood afar. A terrifying ripple was partially felt from him. Tang Xinlian's fiery red hair was scattered. Her icy eyes looked at Hua Chen, whose body was surrounded by black chi. She clenched her hand tightly. If they were to fail, the Thunderbolt ancestral symbol would fall into the hands of the Yimo. At that time, Mo Luo's plan would end in failure. This was definitely something that she could not allow. It is too early for you to be happy. Tang Xinlian's icy voice was slowly reverberated across the sky. She gently bit her finger. Bright red blood seeped out from it. Her delicate finger danced and it actually turned into many fiery red symbols. A bright red light suddenly swept out from Tang Xinlian's body as these light symbols appeared. Those red light appeared like a sea of flames. Flame divine life transforming skill. An icy cry was suddenly emitted from Tang Xinlian's mouth as the sea of flame spread. The monstrous flame wrapped around her delicate figure. It slowly agglomerated and turned into a pair of huge and unusual fire wings on her back. At the same time, her aura had suddenly soared. Has she started using the flame divine life transforming skill? In that case. Zhu Zi in the distance sighed softly upon seeing this. His eyes gradually became sharp. Majestic white light swept from his body like floodwater. His body became taller as the white light surged. Sage Elephant indestructible body. While Zhu Zi's low and deep powerful voice reverberated across the sky, his body had reached 100 feet in size. The space around him was distorted. There seemed to be a 10,000 feet Sage Elephant standing on the slightly distorted empty space behind him. Many pairs of eyes were startled as they looked at the monstrous flame that permeated the sky and the Sage Elephant. All of them were aware that Tang Xinlian and Zhu Zi were using their most powerful skills. Hua Chen smiled faintly upon seeing this. His eyes seemed emotionless and indifferent. Have you begin to fight with you full strength? In that case, I shall fully destroy your confidence. I've changed myriads and manifestations to elephant for our little elephant king Juzi. Please let me know in the comments if I missed any Tai tilde. Majestic and terrifying yuan power fluctuations swept over the sky like a torrential ocean. The entire immeasurable mountain trembled under the impact of this yuan power. Countless pairs of eyes gravely watched the sea of flames spreading in the sky and the 10,000 feet large saint elephant. Anyone could feel just how powerful these skills of Tang Xinlian and Zhu Zi were. That Xu Xiu is the #1 on the rookie list. It is not strange for him to force Zhu Zi to such an extent. However, who is the one fighting Tang Xinlian? He is also so powerful. Some puzzled voices sounded within the hearts of a number of people. This competition was really unpredictable. Mo Luo's eyes were calm as he watched the immeasurable mirror in the sky from the main hall of the Flame Divine Hall. However, the hands placed behind his back slowly clenched tightly. As Tang Xinlian's master, he was naturally well aware of the strongest skill the former possessed. If even this Flame Divine life-transforming skill was unable to stop Hua Chen, this fight would likely have a conclusion. This was clearly also the case for Zhu Zi. The Sage Elephant indestructible body could be considered a top martial art even within Thousand Elephant Mountain. Are they still not going to make an appearance? Mo Luo's keen eyes seemed to tear apart space itself as it scanned the area while a gloomy expression flashed across his face. He had yet to sense any Yimo fluctuations even till now. However, he could vaguely detect evil and merciless gazes watching everything that was happening in this place from the depths of space itself. These wretched things, they have become increasingly cunning. Mo Luo muttered. All he could do was continue to watch the immeasurable mirror. Bang! A sea of flames while a figure lightly walked out from the within. A pair of huge flame wings gently flapped behind her. The scorching heat caused the temperature of this realm to rise rapidly. At this moment, Tang Xinlian's aura was undoubtedly much stronger than before. Crimson flames surrounded her body. These flames were filled with an extremely great destructive power. Quite some distance away, Zhu Zi had already turned into a giant, and his skin emitted a jade-like radiance. The 10,000 feet large giant elephant behind him stood in the sky in an extremely domineering fashion. Everyone was a little anxious as they looked at the two individuals who had unleashed their final techniques. They could vaguely sense that the subsequent clash would determine the victor of both battlegrounds. Mu Lingshan's large eyes looked at the sky from one of the peaks. Her small hands were tightly clenched while her small and exquisite face was covered with anxiety. Compared to Mu Lingshan's anxiety, Lindong's young face by the side seemed to be as calm as the deep abyss. His eyes slowly closed after glancing at the sky. Big brother Lindong. Mu Lingshan turned her head to look at the young man whose body was as straight as the scepter in his hand. She could vaguely sense that the rate of the energy being gathered within the latter's body was becoming even quicker. I will absolutely not hand the Thunderbolt ancestral symbol to you wretched things. In the sky, flames gathered within Tang Xinlian's pretty eyes. However, the expression in her eyes was bone-piercingly cold. The blazing wings on her back abruptly flapped and her body shot towards the clouds like a phoenix while flames that seemed to cover the sky spread. Flames of Nirvana. A sea of flames spread while a clear and icy phoenix cry echoed in the sky. Countless pairs of gazes were lifted and they saw a huge blazing phoenix shooting downwards in a straight line. The flames on its body burned fiercely as if intending to incinerate the land, and it gave off the feeling of bravely charging forward. Sage Elephant indestructible body, Sage Elephant fury. A low and deep roar had also resounded from another part of the sky at this moment. The giant that Zhu had transformed into and the 10,000 feet large Sage Elephant behind him both released a furious roar towards the sky. Boundless white light spread as the space itself began to shudder. The giant rode the Sage Elephant as they suddenly charged forward. In that instance, space distorted and it felt as though 10,000 elephants were charging together. Its power could destroy mountains. This sight caused the hearts of countless onlookers to tremble. He is indeed worthy of being one of the top 3 on the rookie list. Hua Chen stood in the air. He lifted his head to look at the brilliant phoenix that was rapidly magnified in his eyes. Fatal danger was lay under its brilliance. However, this is still not enough. Black light seemed to surge from deep within Hua Chen's eyes. A smile slowly took shape from the corners of his mouth as he slowly took a step forward. Bang! Monstrous black light gushed out from within Hua Chen's body like a black waterfall at this moment. It seemed as though the entire land had darkened due to this black light. A kind of dark and sinister evilness quietly reverberated over the entire land. While monstrous black light surged out from Hua Chen's body, in another part of the sky, Xu Xiu extended his hand in an indifferent manner. His arm began to turn black at an astonishing speed while a strange fluctuation was emitted. Rumble. The phoenix's wings were spread as it flew across the sky at a shocking speed like a crimson meteorite. In the blink of an eye, it appeared in the air above Hua Chen's head. Its heat caused some of the trees on Immeasurable Mountain to spontaneously burst into flames. Hua Chen gazed at the blazing phoenix as the black light in his eyes intensified to the extreme. He suddenly clenched his hand as an unusually dark and cold voice was emitted, "Great Sky Demon Body." Countless black lights whistled out. A faint but brutal roar seemed to emerge from within the black lights. Hua Chen's body swelled at lightning speed as the black light squirmed and a pair of black bat wings that were covered with sharp bones suddenly spread out from behind him. Many strange black symbols also covered his body. A terrifyingly evil ripple spread outwards. Boom! The enormous creature within the darkness howled at the sky. It subsequently clenched its large fist and a punch was thrown. Black light gathered under the punch and strange black flames appeared. Xu Xiu looked at the giant and sage elephant that were madly charging towards him. Those diamond pupils of his seemed to widen at this moment. Soon after, he lifted his now black arm and gently waved it as a hoarse voice slowly spread. Devouring Demon Abyss. A several thousand feet large black line split open space as Xu Xiu's black finger drew across the air. Its edges swiftly split open as an incomparably huge, dark and deep abyss appeared from nowhere. The deep abyss appeared like the huge mouth of an ancient demonic beast. Black light churned and suddenly extended outwards. Subsequently, it clashed against the sage elephant and giant that were charging towards it. Bang! For terrifying attacks collided. In that instant, a loud indescribable sound rumbled across the sky and land like thunder of the 9 heavens. Frightening energy waves rippled and spread outwards, causing signs of collapsing to appear on the giant peaks. Strong resplendent light was emitted, causing the eyes of countless horrified individuals to slightly narrow. Soon after, their eyes were forcefully opened and they quickly looked towards the distant sky with great anxiety. Another phoenix cry sounded. However, there seemed to be an additional mournful sound within the phoenix cry. After which, everyone watched as a huge cluster of flames flew backwards. The blazing phoenix crumbled inch by inch, and in the end, a beautiful figure was revealed. However, the soft armor of the figure had cracked and fresh blood seeped out, causing the Flame Divine Hall's flame fairy to appear rather miserable. Roar! A low and furious roar spread from the deep black abyss. The deep abyss churned as the giant was flung out. Finally, it smashed heavily into one of the mountain peaks, causing it to fall apart due to the terrifying resultant force. Silence filled the sky. The interior of the immeasurable mirror and fiery flame city had fallen into a stifling silence. Numerous gazes looked at the two miserable figure within the immeasurable mirror in a dazed manner, and no one spoke for a time. Tang Xinlian and Zhu Zi were defeated. The Gu Minqi trio stood on a pavilion as they gently bit their red lips before softly sighing. This ending was somewhat unexpected. However, there was nothing they could do. These two individuals were really too powerful. Mo Luo from the Flame Divine Hall watched this scene as the hands behind his back trembled slightly. The first elder of the Flame Divine Hall sighed. Was the plan about to end in failure? Even Tang Xinlian and Zhu Zi were unable to stop those two. Who else was left within the immeasurable mirror who would dare to fight Hua Chen and Xu Xiu? Is it over? Mo Luo's fist was tightly clenched. His eyes were filled with an unresigned expression. The first elder of the Flame Divine Hall was about to utter some words of comfort when his expression suddenly altered. At the same time, Mo Luo also lifted his head. Those eyes of his were somewhat surprised as he looked at the immeasurable mirror. Some exclamations suddenly rose like a wave and spread within Fiery Flame City. Many pairs of eyes contained shock as they looked at the immeasurable mirror. They could suddenly sense a surging and majestic battle aura piercing through the heavens. This aura was like a blade being unsheathed from its scabbard. Its sharpness was astonishing. Countless pairs of startled eyes shifted. After which, they watched the skinny figure who had been previously seated on one of the mountain peaks like a rock, slowly stand up with the Lightning Emperor scepter in his hand. Wind and lightning appeared at that moment. That is Lindong? This sudden surge of battle intent drew countless gazes from entire the city over. They were startled when they saw the skinny figure that slowly stood up, but quickly recognized him. What does he plan on doing? Could it be that he still wishes to fight for the Thunderbolt ancestral symbol? This fellow is really overestimating himself. Now is not the time to try and act mighty. Several people looked at each other in dismay. Although it was extremely courageous for Lindong to have stepped forward at this moment, both Tang Xinlian and Zhu Zi were defeated by the Shuxiu duo. Was there any point for Lindong to fight? Besides a miserable defeat that would further strengthen the Shuxiu duo's ferocious reputation, how could there be any other result? Is Lindong about to take action? The eyes of the first elder of the Flame Divine Hall rippled slightly as he stood above the hall while an uproar suddenly spread throughout the city. There was not much hope in his eyes as he quietly sighed. It is pointless to worry now. Why don't we believe that this little fellow will be able to create a miracle? Mo Luo spoke in a faint voice. The first elder laughed bitterly as he said, I do not doubt Lindong's ability. If he was to take on either Xinlian or Zhu Zi alone, he will not fall into a disadvantageous situation. However, it is clear that Hua Chen and Xu Xiu are stronger than them. Moreover, Lindong will have to face the both of them alone. Mo Luo was quiet. The Shuxiu duo's strength was such that even some experts from the older generation could not compare. Even less needed to be said for the younger generation. Lindong might be strong, but it would be hard for him to fight against those two by himself. However, did they have any choice at this moment? All they could do was to believe that the young man in front of him could save them from this desperate crisis. He really does intend to fight. Inside a certain pavilion, Ji Yumingqi's pretty eyes focused on the figure within the immeasurable mirror as her red lips pursed a little. There was some helplessness in her eyes, however, there was also some hidden admiration deep within them. Who amongst the younger generation of the chaotic demon sea would dare to provoke those two devil gods after Tang Xinlian and Zhu Zi were defeated? It was as if this young man's seemingly skinny figure would be able to support the sky even if it collapsed. By her side, Ji Yu Yang and Ji Yu Ya also laughed bitterly. This young fellow performed extraordinary feats in a seemingly ordinary manner. Would he also be able to create a miracle that could only belong to himself this time around? Within the immeasurable mirror, formidable surging fighting intent soared towards the heavens. Even the clouds in the sky seemed to churn due to this fighting intent. Everyone on Immeasurable Mountain was startled by this sudden fighting intent. Their eyes were filled with astonishment as they gathered on the figure. Lightning flashed around Lindong's body. At this moment, he appeared akin to a lightning dragon that had been awoken from his slumber as a frightening aura spread like floodwaters. Big brother Lindong. Mu Lingshan looked at Lindong, who was standing as straight as his scepter ever since he stood up. She could clearly detect that a wild and violent power that was churning within the latter's body like an ocean. Lindong, Tang Xinlian wiped off the blood at the corner of his mouth. Her pretty eyes looked at Lindong, who now stood in the air as a complicated expression flashed within her eyes. Leave the rest to me. I cannot say that I will definitely win, but I will do everything I can. Lindong glanced at Tang Xinlian and did not say anything else as he turned around. He tightly gripped the Lightning Emperor scepter as he walked towards the distant sky. Those eyes of his were filled with contemplation as he stared at the Hua Chen duo. Tang Xinlian gazed at Lindong's back, while her pretty eyes appeared to a little dazed. This young man might not have a burly look, but those skinny shoulders of his seemed to be able to block a tsunami. At this very moment, in Tang Xinlian's eyes, his back seemed to give her the same imposing and steady feeling that Mo Luo gave her. "Be careful." Tang Xinlian gently clenched her teeth and said. She did not say anything to stop him. At this moment, she understood that no one would be able to stop this man whose desire to battle seemingly covered the sky. Lindong's body shook slightly. Soon after, he gently waved his hand as he stepped forward. After which, he paused around 1,000 feet from Xu Xiu and Hua Chen. "Ha ha, have you finally come out now that there is nowhere to hide?" Hua Chen stared at Lindong with eyes filled with ridicule. However, those eyes were exceptionally dark and cold. Xu Xiu's eyes were indifferent as he looked at Lindong while black light danced like electricity at his fingertips. The duo's auras were extremely dangerous. No one would underestimate them after the earlier display. If nothing unexpected happened, they would become the strongest individuals amongst the current younger generation of this chaotic demon sea. "I'm afraid that the Thunderbolt ancestral symbol cannot be allowed to land in the hands of you dirty creatures." Lindong met the Hua Chen's gaze and slowly said. "Do you think that someone like you, who only knows how to hide behind a woman, has the qualification to say such words to me?" Hua Chen's mouth parted to form a grin. Those sinister white teeth of his gave off a terrifyingly chilling aura. "The Hua Yuan trio have already died at my hands. Your fate will not be any different." Lindong laughed and said. The smile on Hua Chen's lips widened as a vicious look flashed across his eyes. After which, he tilted his head and spoke to Xu Xiu, "You take the Thunderbolt ancestral symbol. I will finish this brat off." Xu Xiu glanced indifferently at Lindong. He nodded before turning to leave. Lindong's eyes narrowed upon seeing this. With a flip of his hand, a light seal appeared on his palm. After which, it spread at a shocking speed. Within a short 10 breaths, it had turned into a 10,000 feet large light formation that enveloped the surrounding land. The light formation rotated and a light curtain came falling from the sky. It directly covered Hua Chen and Xu Xiu. "Don't tell me that you wish to fight the both of us alone." Hua Chen looked at the huge formation that had spread across the sky. The smile on his mouth was filled with mockery as he cocked his head slightly and looked at Lindong. Those eyes seemed as though they were looking at a fool. He was really unable to imagine just where this Lindong's courage was from. The latter actually dared to stop both himself and Xu Xiu alone. Lindong's expression was indifferent. He shut his eyes a little as Yuan power surged in his channels. Majestic mental energy also gushed out from his Niwen palace at this moment. These two powers converged within the ancient universe formation in his body. As the formation rotated, the two powers faintly showed signs of fusing together as a shocking fluctuation slowly spread. "Let's attack and kill him." Xu Xiu withdrew his eyes from the formation in the sky before speaking softly. Hua Chen loosened his shoulders. The expression in his eyes suddenly became malicious at this moment. The demon wings covered with bone spikes on his back slowly flapped as a dark and eerie voice was emitted. "Since he wishes to die, let's fulfill his wish." Hua Chen clenched his fist tightly after his words sounded and a powerful punch was suddenly thrown forward. Black light gathered crazily under his fist and transformed into a black ray of light that whistled forth. Devouring demon finger. Xu Xiu's eyes were ice cold. His pitch-black finger sliced downwards and a strange black of light swept out. The surrounding space became slightly distorted as black light flashed and seemed to pierce through space itself. One was a straightforward attack, while the other was a hidden attack. Both contained waves of terrifying fluctuations. This power was sufficient to seriously injure an advanced profound death stage expert in an instant. Countless pairs of eyes watched as the attack shot forth. Many secretly sighed in their hearts. Lindong had indeed overestimated himself a little. These actions of his were no doubt equivalent to seeking death. Black lights penetrated space. In the next instant, it had already appeared in front of Lindong. Those tightly shut eyes of Lindong also suddenly opened at this moment as boundless solid-like energy surged within them. Ancient universe formation, reverse rotation demon destruction. The seals formed by Lindong's hand changed at lightning speed as a deep voice echoed. Bang bang. The 10,000 feet large formation in the sky slowly rotated in the opposite direction at this moment as a light pillar descended from the center of the formation. Finally, it fell straight down in front of Lindong and heavily smashed against the two powerful black lights. Bang! An earth-shaking sound spread as the black lights burst apart. Countless pairs of eyes were gathered at the area of collision. The black lights gradually faded under the countless watching gazes. A skinny figure holding the lightning emperor scepter slowly stepped forward into the sights of those numerous shocked gazes. Noise spread like floodwaters at this moment while shock and astonishment surged within the eyes of many people. Lindong had actually managed to block this combined attack of Hua Chen and Xu Xiu. Hua Chen looked at the human figure that had walked out from the black light as surprise flashed across his eyes. His expression also slowly became distorted and ferocious. This is going to be interesting. This video will end here.